Hey, what's going on out there? It's Dr. Jason with Elite Health. I want to talk to you today about selecting a holistic practitioner that's right for you. I think it's super important that you don't just go off Google reviews necessarily. Those can be very helpful though, by the way. Or like, a nice profile picture, or maybe online they've got thousands of followers. Okay, that's nice, but anybody can build a brand. That doesn't mean you're a good doctor or a good practitioner. So let's talk about that. So one of the top things, and I feel you should look for, because I sought out a naturopathic practitioner when I was really ill. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and even those of us in this field need help. It was probably 10 or 12 years ago. Helped me tremendously. That's one of my big passions for why I finished up my doctorate and started the practice there. But what I want you to really put as number one, and really interview this, okay? Ask as many questions until you feel comfortable with this practitioner, is their number one source of education is not their book learning. It's their personal experience. That's number one. Number one. You can have the most brilliant, top of the class, graduate from the best school in the world, whatever. But if that person, that practitioner, that doctor has not been through some rough times himself or herself with chronic illness and really understand where you're at, what you're going through, the ups and downs, the depression, anxiety that it causes, the debilitating pain, all the things that lower your quality of life. If they don't understand that, if they haven't been there before, sorry, but the best education in the world is not, cannot exceed that. No matter how good clinical skills someone has, they have to have that personal experience with it, and then they have a couple things. Obviously, they have a lot of huge amounts of lessons from that, like I do, but they also have a lot of empathy for you. You got to have someone that has empathy. They've got to understand what's going on with you. I have a saying in my practice that my patients or clients can never disappoint me. Okay? Can't disappoint me. That means no matter what happens, no matter if I assign you all this great stuff that you're so excited about, you may not do a single thing, that's okay. I'm gonna check back in with you, or we're gonna solve the problem. We're gonna figure out what happened, take baby steps, scrap that plan, start a new one, whatever it takes, but you're not gonna disappoint me because I know what it's like to have chronic illness, and it's tough to have follow through sometimes. Some days you just don't have it, and I get that. So you gotta make sure your practitioner has that. So many out there are really, they mean well, but they have not been through chronic illness, and I feel that is a mark against them, in my opinion. Another big one, accountability. When you're chronically ill, you don't feel well. One of the top symptoms is what? Low energy, right? Brain fog comes with that oftentimes. So if you don't have a system of accountability where someone's checking in on you, at a assigned date and appointment time, how do you know if you're actually getting to where you need to be? Because you're in a very challenged state, okay? How do you know what's going on, right? Are you checking back in? Are your numbers improving? Do you have problems that you can solve that you're unaware of, right? I really have a big problem, and there's a lot of good mentors I have, a lot of good doctors out there that practice like this, and God bless them, but I have a problem with when it's just what I call the consultation model, where you come in for the initial consultation, they might prescribe you a few supplements, herbs, a few lifestyle things, and then that's it. There's no follow-up appointment made. There's no real plan of care, and what I call plan of care. You're just kind of like, okay, we got you set for now, and then that's it, right? And basically you're supposed to wander back into that clinic or call them back up at some time in the future. Like, what is that time? You know what I mean? And again, when you don't feel well, are you forgetting some things that you were taught to do, right? Is there some elements that you're missing? Plus, how do you assess, again, if you're getting better or not if you don't check back in with your practitioner? I just never understood that model. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I personally believe in plans of care where there's a structure to it. It can be adjusted. You don't have to have it, like the military precision, but it can be, like in my practice, roughly once a month, I want to check in with you in person if we can. If we're remote, we'll get on telehealth. And then about every 2 weeks, we'll do a telehealth or get on the phone and we'll check in. How you doing? Hey, how's that protocol going that I prescribed you or assigned you? And let's say there's 6 elements to it and you did 4 really great and you forgot the other 2. Oh man, I forgot about, no problem. Let's talk about how we can implement that, right? If it goes 3, 4, 5, 6 months that you forgot those other 2, you're not getting the results you could get. You see that? You got to have accountability. So looking for that. Another big one for me, and that is that they're cash-based practice. Now, there'll be some people that don't like to hear this. They're like, oh, insurance should cover naturopathy and holistic medicine, alternative medicine. Couldn't agree more, but it's not going to. I don't even know if it'll happen in our lifetime, guys. The system is set up for pharmaceuticals, let's just be honest. That's what it's set up for. It's set up for huge doctor, corporate conglomerates to make a lot of money from. That's what it's all about. So if you're trying to find a holistic practitioner and you're really concerned if they take insurance or not, you're hamstringing yourself. You just are. And I know it's not expensive, I know it's not cheap. it can be an expensive endeavor relatively, but remember, you're investing in something that's going to help you have a higher quality life and save you hundreds of thousands. And there's studies on this, guys. It's the approximate cost of out-of-pocket for chronic illness over a lifetime is $200,000 with insurance. That's with insurance, 200 grand over a lifetime of chronic illness, okay? So a few thousand out of pocket for cash practice, I think makes sense up front, right? I know not everybody can do that, but just think about it like that. Kind of change your paradigm, change your thinking, open your mind a little bit to that. Another big one is this: if you let some corporate person in some office somewhere who's not a clinician decide whether they should cover your procedure or your labs or whatever, and if they don't cover it, you're going to go a different direction. You're letting that person take control of your health. That's not okay, is it? If you were an athlete somewhere and you knew you had to get to X to get better, but you said, you know what, I'm not willing to hire that trainer or that person to get me there, you're hamstringing yourself again, right? You're letting that person limit you, okay? So cash practice, I think, is really important, because those of us in cash practices think outside the box. We don't have the limits of the insurance system to hamper us, to change our treatment plans, right? And I think that's a really big deal. So give that some thought when you're looking for a naturopathic practitioner, holistic practitioner, and we'll talk soon. Okay, bye-bye.